Hi, welcome to Real Life Alexa with yours truly. Wednesday, midweek. Let's just talk about a couple things. It is a short work week. I'm lucky. I had Monday off as a federal holiday. It is my work gives that as one of the ones we have off during the year, and that always kind of makes the rest of the week just a little bit crazy, like you really want to get stuff done and you're like, oh, I've got the whole week, and then you're like, oh gosh, no, it's Wednesday. I need to get stuff done today. I have gotten several things sort of checked off of my list this week so far in 2 days of work, so that is good. I keep thinking about this, and I don't know why I do it to myself, but I have a couple of conference presentations that I have been working on and have to work on. I actually have an article that I think is going to be published that I have to get finished up. So I at least got the first draft done. Projects like my normal work, like my normal actual daily work, there's stuff there that I've gotten done, projects I'm working on. So very, very busy. On Monday, I did have a little bit of, no, Monday or last night? Last night. It was actually last night. Gee, that's how long this week has been already. It feels like I've done 3 or 4 days of work, and it's literally been 2 yesterday and today. Last night, I actually braved the cold. So a lot of the U.S. is in this record cold, well, maybe not record, but like super cold spell, like negative degrees. The high on Monday, I want to say, was 5 Fahrenheit. Yesterday was maybe 7. It wasn't much more. Today we got up to 23, heat wave. But yesterday I went out because there is this phenomenon in the sky right now that I want to say it's 2068 or something ridiculous that's the next time you can see it. There are 6 planets currently sort of visible. It's not really a line like when I first was reading about this, because it's been occurring for several days, and I've seen some people say Saturday was the best day to go out. I've seen others say last night was. I ended up not being able to go out Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I was looking out and there was literally cloud cover. And I'm like, well, that's where you needed to kind of look. So that wasn't going to work. Last night, I braved the cold. Had a little bit of scare. My remote start for my car didn't work. It was very, like, I could hear it semi-trying. Like, it wasn't truly turning over. So I was like, well, I'll go out and try the key, and that way, I'll know for sure if it started first time with the key, I was like, well, now I've got to go for like a real drive and make sure that if the battery was struggling, I charge it back up again. I had to go out to pick some stuff up from the pharmacy. So it wasn't like I was just going out to go see the sky. So I ended up going for a much longer drive than I had expected, sort of did a loop, came back to the place outside of town. There's like a little, I don't know, recreation area, little park. And there's not really any lights. There's some lights there because it's kind of near to one of the highways, but it's not like a major highway, so there's not a huge amount of lights. And there's really not really houses. There's like 2 houses, like a little bit away from it, but otherwise it's fields. So I like to go out there whenever there is stuff going on in the skies, if I'm going to go out there and look and try and see the stuff. So I've gone out there to try and look for a couple of the comets that have been visible in the past couple of years. I went out there probably 2.5 years ago now. There was a full lunar eclipse, and it was a supermoon, which means it super close. It looks super close to the Earth. It doesn't mean it's super close to the Earth. And it was just gorgeous just sitting out there watching that. There was a couple other cars in these. There's like two areas you can park in. And so like there were a couple cars in both of them, and we were all just sort of sitting there watching this phenomenon. Last night, I was the only one out there. It was absolutely freezing cold. I don't blame other people for not being out and about. But I did see them, and they weren't in the order that I have an article, so you can go and read about it. I'll drop that in the description later. But it was Mars, then Jupiter, then Uranus, then Neptune, and then Venus and Saturn were like kind of together relative to the other ones, but it actually spanned from sort of due east with Mars to like due west. I was sitting in my car and I was angled to the west, so like I was like looking over here for Mars, and then you can actually see three of them without any help: Mars and Jupiter, and then Venus to the west. Venus was the first star I saw in the sky as I went out just after sunset. So it took a good hour for it to get dark enough to see all of the constellations. Well, not even all of them, but a lot of the constellations, then to be able to find the planets. So I'm like 99% confident I got 4 of the planets. The other 2, I'm probably about 80% confident that I saw them. I have this little app on my phone called Stellarium. I'll put the name of it in the comments as well. Not the comments, the description. When it's working properly, you can literally like move your phone whichever way you're looking, and it will act. You can look up, you can look like beneath the ground. Just if you're trying to find something that's not visible, you can search for what you're looking for, and it'll tell you what you're looking at. Unfortunately, with my phone, like most of the time I've used it, it's always about 90 degrees off. Like it also tells you which way you're looking, north, south, east, west, and it'll tell me that west is like south. It'll say it's south, but I know it's west because I'm literally watching the sun set, And so it kind of did the same thing last night. But anyway, that was kind of exciting. So busy week, work moving along, no Everton game. That's kind of a bummer. We did have a good one on Sunday. The first half was very exciting. Sometimes it feels like the team that Daesh put together really just needed a spark. We definitely have had some issues with injuries. With Branthwaite got injured for a while there, and our defense fell apart. That didn't help. I want to say Mangala is back, and like he's looking like that's exciting. But that was Moyes' second game. Very exciting for me, at least. I know other people who aren't Everton fans aren't as interested in that sort of commentary. We don't have a game until the weekend, so that's kind of sad because I'm kind of excited to see what we can come up with against our next opponent. I want to say it's Villa. I looked it up and now I've forgotten exactly who it is. Anyway, that'll come and we'll see what happens. And then the other thing, which the picture, my thumbnail, is I'm trying to be a little more proactive. So I have a whole bunch of seeds. Most of them I don't want to grow. Like, I think we've got like 4 types of lettuce. I've tried to grow 2 and none of them have ever grown. I have a couple of different radishes, and I only grow 1. Spinach, buttercrisp, romaine, okra. I've never had okra. Just a whole bunch of stuff that I think a couple different cucumbers and whatever. So I have a bunch of things that came in this 35 different types, and then I have other stuff that I've actually bought before. Bought separately rather. I'm almost certainly going to do the free garden plot again this year with my town. I think it's been kind of fun doing it the last 2 years. I haven't really got a huge amount of produce, but this year I'm going to try and plan a little better because 2 years ago, I didn't even get the plot until middle of June, and then I couldn't plant anything until literally it was July 3rd. No, it was July 2nd because I went out to a friend's on the 3rd when they do their July 4th stuff. And don't ask me why they do it on the 3rd, but they do. And I was out there the next day. Last year, now that we're in 2025, last year I got the plot pretty decently early. I think I was able to get out there and start planting in May. Definitely made it a lot easier to be able to plant immediately after I think there's a volunteer that comes and plows the strips. So this year I want to be ready. And one of the things that did help last year was starting certain things inside. I don't think I started some of them early enough. So this year I am going to try and start a couple of things earlier. I think when I transplanted my broccoli plants, some of my videos from last summer talk about this. Literally every time 2-4 leaves would grow, the rabbits would be like, oh, this is delicious. Let me go get some of this, right? The pea plants I had let grow, like they were 10 inches tall, and they had a whole bunch of things, and those, they didn't get eaten last year. So I'm going to try and do that again. Lesson from last year is plant double the number of corn plants and space them out a little more. I don't think I'm going to bother with pumpkins this year. I'm not a huge pumpkin fan. Like, I like them for decorations, but if I do, I'll probably go and find like a mini pumpkin just one plant from Home Depot. But what I would like to do, I've bought 2 different types of seeds this winter. I love an acorn squash, so I'm going to try and do that. And then I also got sweet snacking peppers, so mini peppers. So what I'm going to try and do in the next couple weeks is make an Excel sheet, a spreadsheet, put all of the information. So these are plant outdoor, but I'm going to put out days to germination, days to maturity, and then if I'm able, then I'll go back when I actually plant, and I'll put the day I actually plant it, and then have a calculation that tells me when it should be ready to harvest. So things like corn, hopefully I'll get some radishes this year. So I didn't get any this past summer. I don't remember if I planted too many. But the broccoli, and then I actually bought broccolini seeds because I've heard it's a little sweeter and a little, sounds more delicious to me. So I bought that, and it did start growing, but again, it was just every time the leaves grew, those poor plants, the rabbits enjoyed them. I mean, the rabbits enjoyed them. That's great. I've got carrots, 2 different types. I've got just heirloom Scarlet Nantes, and then Colorful Rainbow Mix. Now, the thing about these is I actually got quite a few of both of these packages this past year. I only got like a couple of the light sort of yellowy ones. Those ones were yellow inside, but any of them that were bright purple on the outside, they're still orange on the inside. So, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and kind of do a little bit of a spreadsheet with dates and times and how long it's going to take. And then what I also want to do is I've been looking at growing squash more vertically, because if you know anything about any type of squash, any type of melon, any type of like that kind of thing, they get really big. Like pumpkins can grow like 6 foot by 6 foot. So acorn squash similarly. Now acorn squash are not as heavy as the big pumpkins. The mini pumpkins are obviously not that heavy. So I've seen them do sort of a trellis of sort. I don't know how high I'd want to make it. And then I also don't know how to do it the simplest way that I can remove it. And I'm going to have to, I mean, if I buy something like a cattle panel or that kind of idea, it's going to have to be stored in the shed that's out there, which, I mean, I don't really mind. I could probably do like a chicken wire, but I don't know that would be, I think that would cut the vines much more easily as the fruit got heavy on the vine. So I'm just trying to plan ahead. I know it's still literally freezing outside. It's still January. I'm not sure when those garden plots will be available. Though, based on the past 2 years, it's going to be about May when they're ready. So I'll probably have to start the seeds indoors towards the end of March, probably April, and see how how big I can get them before I go and transplant them out there into one of the plots. But I figure if I'm going to do it for the third year, I should up my game a little bit and try and do it a little better. So I hope you come along with me as I learn some more stuff, and I'll probably do a more thorough explanation at some time, if that's maybe something people want to listen to or hear about, on what I learn and how what my plans are. I think also I'm going to have to sketch out what I haven't done the past 2 years is when they plow it, it's really like 6 or 7 feet across, and we're meant to get 10 feet across. What I haven't done in the past 2 years is take advantage. I haven't needed to take those extra 1.5 to 2 feet on either side. I think this year I'm going to have to figure out a way of like putting cardboard down or something to kill the grass so that I can turn it over, make sure that it's not getting overgrown. Last year, my pumpkins got like completely overtaken by the weeds. And that started because while they don't want to mow the lawn around the area like super close, what happens is they just kept incrementally leaving more and more space. And it was like there was a 2-foot patch of 2-foot tall grass, and we had so much rain I couldn't get out there. I had no way to cut it. I had to go buy a pair of shears. So I'm gonna have to figure out something to do with that, and I have to plan where I want to plant everything. So I think I'm going to have to put 2 rows of corn in with a minimum of 24 plants. And I think that will help with the pollination. And I think also instead of doing them north to south, I think I'm going to try and do them east to west. That will a little bit impact where I put some other stuff as well. So it's going to be interesting to try and figure out. I also might need to not do 1.5 feet on both the top and the bottom of the row, but like do 3 or 4 foot below, because if other people take their full 10, the strip in between the plots gets much smaller. So I'm going to do some planning, figure that out. I know this is my life. This is what's going on in my life. So I figured I would share some of this. Figure anyone who is thinking about gardening but they never have before, maybe you might take some inspiration from it. If you've never done stargazing before, definitely, but you're interested, check out Stellarium, however you say it. Just get out there and do something, like, why not? And yeah. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it if you made it this far. As always, you rock. And I will see you on the next one. Be kind to yourself.